Looks as though Anthony Davis could rejoin the Lakers at some point in April, early April, which is a really good sign for the Lakers as they gear up for the playoffs. We're talking about that and Quin Snyder replacing Frank Vogel on today's show. But first, like the video if you want AD back from injury ASAP. Let's chop it up and talk Lakers hoops right now. Welcome into the Lakers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Sr. For the Lakers this year, hasn't been a lot of good news, but seems as though good news could be around the corner pertaining to Anthony Davis and him coming back from that mid-foot sprain off that nasty turned ankle that he suffered many weeks ago. According to Frank Vogel, when he was asked about Anthony Davis, he said, look, he's coming along really well in his recovery from that mid-foot sprain, and the expectation, according to Dave McMenamin of ESPN, is that AD could rejoin the Lakers early in April. McMenamin saying this on ESPN, if everything continues to progress well in Davis's rehab, the all-star big man could be suiting up for games by the first week of April at the earliest, sources tell ESPN. If Davis can get back, there won't be much time to ramp things up before the play-in tournament, but if his immediate return is to high-level play coming off that MCL sprain in January, then the Lakers will be in a good spot. Now, you look at the Lakers right now, obviously they've struggled all year long with a bevy of injuries, but for the play-in tournament, the Lakers are a scary team if they have Anthony Davis in the lineup. Look, a healthy AD and LeBron James combined two of the top 10, top 20 players in the NBA. Obviously, LeBron, in my opinion, still top 5. AD, probably on the cusp of that top 10 list just because he hasn't been made available. But the point here being, Lakers a scary play-in team with the healthy AD in the lineup. And other teams who are looking at the Lakers in the play-in tournament, and if they win the play-in tournament and get in to the NBA playoffs in the Western Conference, I can assure you this. They do not want to take on the Lakers because AD and LeBron, over the span of a 7-game series, that right there, a dangerous combo on both ends of the floor, and both of those guys can win you 4 games in the span of a 7-game playoff series. So while hope seem lost for the Los Angeles Lakers, me, your boy Chase Sr., telling you, have some hopes. Because LeBron James and Anthony Davis, when they're clicking, like they were last year in that first-round series against the Suns, before AD went down, they were wreaking havoc. How important is Anthony Davis to this Lakers playoff run? I'm going to go 10 here because I think without AD, simply not enough talent on this roster to escape throughout the gauntlet of the playoffs. If you disagree with me, that's fine. Just let me know in the comment section. AD coming back. Lakers need him for a playoff run. And if he gets back to kind of that form that he was at prior to the injury, I think Anthony Davis can really add a much-needed boost to this lineup. And it's not only what he was doing on the offensive end of the floor. I think over time, Anthony Davis has been disrespected as a defensive player because he can frankly guard all 5 positions on the floor. He can rim protect, he can block shots and rim run, and then obviously on the offensive end of the floor, he's able to hit shots from anywhere. Down low, out to the three-point arc. So that versatility and that unpredictability to his game makes him such a dangerous player. Stats between injuries, 10 games. I thought he was starting to round a corner to a certain degree. Nearly 23 points per game, 9 rebounds, and those 3 blocks. Very, very impressive figures for AD. Now the three-point numbers down to historic lows, but it's not like you have to ask AD to really be that go-getter from distance. Make sure you subscribe to the Lakers Report by Chat Sports because we continue to pump out content multiple days per week, and it's the best, most informative, and entertaining Lakers coverage here on YouTube. 10,000 people away from 10 people away, from 42,000 people. Sorry, I got a root canal done today. Can't feel the left side of my face, but that's another reason why you got to subscribe because we're real ones here. So subscribe for consistent Lakers coverage. Teams in the play-in tournament mix right now. Denver Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves, Los Angeles Clippers, as well as the LA Lakers. Can we get a little Clippers-Lakers rivalry game in that play-in tournament? That right there, folks, would be lit. Other teams in the mix, New Orleans Pelicans. I don't think that Zion Williamson is going to come back, even though he was throwing down those hammers on social media. San Antonio Spurs, I really think you can write them off. So too with the Portland Trail Blazers and the Sacramento Kings. Before we get to these Quinn Snyder rumors, how about this Lakers remaining schedule here? March 27th at New Orleans, then at the Mavericks on the 29th, 31st. Another road game against the Utah Jazz. Come back home to Crypto.com Arena to kick off April. And hopefully at this point, Anthony Davis is starting to round into form so that he can come back at some point. Don't think it'll be against the Nuggets, but you take a look at these last 4 games. Could AD return to the lineup in any of them? And again, if he does return for any of them, it is a monster addition for the Los Angeles Lakers. We're going to get to Frank Vogel now, and a move that I think is very fascinating for a couple of different reasons, because I think Quinn Snyder is one of the best coaches in the NBA. But if you want Frank Vogel fired after this year, hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. That way you're able to let your voices be heard so that you can speak your mind. A lot of Lakers rumors rumbling right now about Frank Vogel getting fired, and this has really been a topic of conversation for a long time, and Quinn Snyder replacing him. We'll hop into those rumors here in just a second, but first, Lakers hats up to 40% off thanks to our friends at Fanatics. A couple of different sizes, a couple of different colors, all available. You just have to plug in that link at the bottom of your screen. It's chatsports.com/Lakers hats. Now for me, I kind of like the dad style hat, but back in the day, I was rocking the New Era flat brim fitteds, no doubt about it. You can cop this one or the palm tree Lakers hat. Again, all of these styles available if you use that link down below. It's chatsports.com/Lakers hats. Some of these hats up to 40% off, and you can rock them all year round. So this Quinn Snyder rumor about him replacing Frank Vogel comes from Mark Stein on his Substack. No one in Salt Lake City has league insiders musing about his future like Coach Quinn Snyder. In discussions with numerous officials from rival teams in recent weeks, I've heard questions raised repeatedly about how much longer Snyder, now in his 8th year in Utah, which is hard to believe by the way, will remain there. Snyder has been increasingly mentioned as a potential target for San Antonio to succeed Greg Popovich. I've likewise heard Snyder's name posed as a probable Los Angeles Lakers candidate should the Lakers and Frank Vogel part ways after what has been a nightmare season in Hollywood. To be honest, having to address this type of situation, this is what Quinn Snyder had to say. To be honest, having to address this type of question in any form, in my view, is disrespectful to the teams that are mentioned themselves. I think specifically these types of discussions are also disrespectful to coaches. And I love the guys that I coach. I love these players. And frankly, my focus is on our guys and on our team. And as I said, addressing hypotheticals in these types of questions in any form, I feel like is disrespectful. And that's how I would characterize that. Now, Quinn Snyder, you can say that all you want. I think him coming to Los Angeles would be a straight-up home run hire, like Freddie Freeman going deep with the palm trees in the background at Dodger Stadium. It'd be lit. Quinn Snyder going to LA would send ripple effects across the entire NBA. I believed him to be that good of a head coach. He can make adjustments on the fly. He's savvy and smart on both ends. He's a good communicator. The players always seem to like him. And he's been in Utah for a long while. They've had a bunch of regular season success and some postseason success, even though they haven't been able to punch their ticket to the Western Conference Finals. At some point, how much time is enough time in Utah when you can go where there are palm trees and beautiful weather for the most iconic brand in basketball in the Los Angeles Lakers? Quinn, I understand that you want to say all the right things right now, but if you want the best job, if you want to be at the peak of your profession, if you want to lead the most iconic brand in the NBA and coach LeBron James while he's still in his prime, as well as Anthony Davis, come to Los Angeles. That's where the real ones are at. That's where the winners win. That's where championship trophies are hoisted. Quinn Snyder, make the right move. Go from Utah to Los Angeles if you have that opportunity. And if that opportunity presents itself, you'd be stupid to say no. Before we hop on out of here, who will be the Lakers' next head coach? Will it be somebody on this bench right now, like David Fizdale? Will it be an external candidate like Quinn Snyder? Could it be Frank Vogel? Give me a name in the comment section, and we appreciate you for making the Lakers Report a part of your day.